So yeah, this is a replay of Cold War mode. This is my very first game in Cold War mode actually. So I'm in the M46A1. Loaded up quite a lot of heat shells. They're cheap and they had highest penetration. I believe they got the slightly more damage as well on these ones. I have played Cold War mode quite a lot more since I played this game. I think this game was either the day or two after the Cold War mode was introduced, so it's fairly early on. You'll see later on there's not a bug but a graphical issue where the radio tower hasn't been you can't see it but it's still there for collisions, so I get stuck on an invisible radio tower. But yeah, just admiring the view there. I think it's quite a good mode. I think it's definitely secondary to the World War II mode. I tend to play Cold War just as a bit of a change of pace. I find it a little bit stale that all of the tanks are sort of mediums. I know there's some heavy tanks higher up, but again, there's only 2 lines and they'll be either a medium or a heavy, which is fine. It's brand new out, wasn't expecting too many lines out, so it's quite good that they've got a line that goes all the way through up all the eras, which is good. Just try and take a few shots here. So my thinking in the first game was just head to the middle, see if there's a hill, and there is. So I've gone onto the hill in the middle here. I use this hill still sometimes occasionally, but I do aim now for the hill at D7. I find that position's really strong. You can get really good shots across all the way down to sort of like the G3, H3 area, down all the way down there. You can cover the bridge. You can cover if anyone's camping in the base. So at this point I can see that there's a couple of campers on that hill, so that's where I go now. That's what they're doing, so I think they've probably played a few more games than I have. But that's what I tend to do now, exactly what they were doing, hold down on that ridge. So I've noticed that I'm not really progressing that way. I've sussed they've got a good hill, so turn my attention over here. Just trying to see where I can go. Just reverse back up here. Thinking of using the road just to try and be hold down. I've noticed it sort of arcs round, but I'm just going to arc round here, and yeah, this is where that invisible sort of radio tower is now. Yeah, not really sure what's happening here. Get stuck completely here. As I said, this was 1 or 2 days after it dropped, so I was expecting bugs in it. It's just annoying I got stuck on that. So come over here. Notice this one's a one shot. It drops down below the road. I've overextended. Realise I need to pull back. Just see if I can get the blind shot through there. It's not really blind shot anymore. He wasn't spotted, and I still got the shot in. But as you can see, the maps are designed for true vision now, so there is lots of sort of foliage, trees, and rocks around the hills, just to break the lines of vision really. I think the maps are really good. I'm quite impressed. I used to play War Thunder a little bit on PS4. I found that they had a ghost shell there. I think the next one's a ghost shell as well. Oh no, bounce. I found that on War Thunder they've got true vision essentially, but I found a lot of their maps were just valleys and corridors, whereas here, there's a couple of mountains or hills that you can't go up, and the rest of it's fairly open. I make a mistake here. I default to sort of World War II mode, and I drive along the top of the ridge and completely skyline myself. to the enemy team. So that's just something that you have to think about in Cold War, that your people can see you. But I do find that you can just play it like World War II mode most of the time. A lot of the time, if you're not spotted, you get hardly any shots aimed at you. Not too sure if that's just my experience, but I find that I feel that I benefit more from the true vision, just with people crossing just outside my vision range and those things. So I have transferred a couple of commanders over. I am training them up. I've got the standard 4 perks on there, and the 5th one was actually the vision perk. I know that might not sound the best perk to get in Cold War, but I find that the situations I've been in where I'm able to outspot people, you know, if they drop behind bushes, I can see them spotted and I can hit them and they can't see me. So that helps with allies as well. Your allies can see it. So I do, as I said, I do kind of still play this mode as if it's World War II mode, still trying to get the spot in, still trying to out-vision range people, and yeah, just still run optics. Got the advanced loader and the vert stabilizers on this one now. At this point in this game, I don't have any equipment on there because I was kind of thinking, well, am I actually going to play this mode? I have played it. I've unlocked the, I suppose it's Era 1 Tier 2 tanks for both the Western and Eastern alliances. So yeah, it's 4-4 at the moment, just coming up to this hill. But yeah, not too sure why they called it Western and Eastern alliances. I'm not too sure why they just couldn't have called it NATO and Warsaw Pact. I'm sure those terms aren't copyrighted, so yeah, not too sure where they're going to go with Western Alliance. Maybe they're going to add Swedish and Swiss tanks, I'm not too sure, but yeah, I keep wanting to say NATO rather than Western, but there we go. So yeah, as I said, I think I've played probably approaching about 100 games now in Cold War mode. I tend to play it if I just fancy playing it, or if it's going badly in World War II mode, I'll come over to Cold War. I'm now got the, yeah, as I said, the Tier 2 essentially tanks unlocked. I've got the M47, the American, the Western Alliance one unlocked. So yeah, it's I do like it, and I've just put this video up just to give what my initial thoughts were. So yeah, I think it's a good mode. I'm just concerned that it's splitting the player base and the costs of sort of the upgrades. The silver costs are just crazy, especially if they're trying to get new players in. So yeah, I can understand. My initial reaction to the tech tree was that the post-war era was a bit redundant, that they should have just started with Diton. But you know, looking back on it now, I think it's probably for the new players, but you know, just get shut down there. But I think the post-war mode is probably for new players, because I'm not too sure on Xbox, but it was advertised quite strongly on the PlayStation Store in the days after it released. So yeah, I'm assuming quite a lot of new players joined for the modern tanks. But I just think In that sense, they really should have made the first era sort of like a tier 5 grind or something like that. Just easier for new players who don't have the silver, who don't have, you know, the free XP to grind up. So yeah, not too sure why they made it so difficult. Maybe it's to try and funnel people into World War II mode. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that was my initial reaction to it. My first game in it. I think I've done quite fairly well, and yeah, I've been enjoying it. But as I said, I do see it as a bit of a change of pace, just something a little bit different. If I just get a little bit burnt out with World War II mode. So yeah, yeah, thanks for watching.